Hello lovelies, and welcome to today's video. I'm so glad you stopped by. My name is Alya and I'm going to be showing you a really special Tichel tutorial today. So stick around, we're going to be exploring some vintage wraps from the 40s and the 50s. So to really think about the fashion of the time and look back into a vintage sort of style, we have to consider what was happening around the world at the time. So the 40s is of course World War II, and we see a lot of men go off to fight in the war. Of course a lot of women as well, but many did stay home, and workforce had to continue, especially that there were a lot of new demands from engineering type jobs, and that used to do those jobs were off being soldiers. So we see a lot of women getting their hands dirty in the workforce for the first time. So we have a need for hair to be out of the way. We need things to be practical, but these are still women. These are still gorgeous, beautiful, creative women who not sacrifice their looks just because they were fulfilling a need for society. These women still stayed stylish, still stayed very cute, but just did an amazing job at the same time. Just like we see them do it now in the 2000s, but back then it was something different and something completely novel. That was something I came across a lot when I was researching the era, because the one thing that is amazing about a lot of the imaging of headscarves from that era is a woman with a power tool. So I love that. I'm very big on power tools. I love, assembling furniture or fixing stuff or hanging stuff or whatever. That doesn't frighten me at all. So I feel like I would get along with those women quite well. Not to mention that I myself work on machinery all day long as well. So it was very cool to see how these headscarves weren't just a fashion item, they were very much a practical item. So let's go through some early 40s scarves from a magazine, and then a few from some workplace imaging, and we'll put them together for you. I've pulled out a few of my most kind of extreme square scarves that I've got. The reason I've done that is because I've noticed that a lot of the images were of triangle or square scarves, so very typical scarves rather than what we're used to these days, and they're all very satiny. Even in the black and white images you can sort of tell that they're either going to be a cotton or a satin. I've got this beautiful green scarf here. I think it'll be pretty classic, and what I've done, because it's so slippery, is I've actually put a dress pin in the edge here, because I've popped it on the nape of my neck and I just want it to stay put. The other thing I've done is I've actually got my hair being held up by one of these. Okay, this is really convenient because it gives you just a little bit of volume that way, but it doesn't give you the sort of bun. You can absolutely have that too, but I just think that these scarves, they don't have the real estate to handle all of that. So this is both got shape but also doesn't take up so much in terms of volume. Okay, so we'll drop this down, make sure that's still at the nape of the neck, and we're going to come around and make sure it's all covering and pulling it not very tight. Just think of it like you're cradling your head. Just cross this over and tie it back at the nape again. Taking the dress pin out. I'm just going to gather this a little bit. I don't want it too wide. I kind of just want it to create like a fringe type of situation. Give it a few twists, and then I'm going to find a little place for it to hide. So under here is good. This will be a very typical style for the era. Very typical, and we see that definitely in some of these pictures down here. How gorgeous is that? You can also put away these tails into themselves, so into the part that comes around. Just be careful not to push out your little fringe part. There we go. So pretty. And as I said before about the volume, I've got this sort of clip here, but I don't have this big round bun, which you again can totally do if you wanted to, but I just think this is a bit more practical. Another way you'll find these are worn a lot of the time is to have the triangle going down the back, but I mean you could just do one of these too. That's definitely something that's very common in these pictures. You see quite a few of them, both sort of more tight, or my preference a little bit more loosely. Definitely cute. It has its moment. You can definitely do that, or you can actually fold up the tip. So I'll just show you. So you take this bit here and it actually goes underneath. So when you're putting on your scarf, got that pin in again, you just put it on like this first and then put it down so that this is kind of underneath there. Now the scarf is not big enough where it'll cover my nape if I leave this at the front, so I'm going to have to hide it underneath until it covers the nape. Okay, this look will sit further back just naturally. I'm just going to pull my non-slip headband back as well. And then I can just crisscross it at the back on the nape. You get this really cute sort of bauble-y kind of look because I've got that folded bit of scarf underneath. Okay, so make sure my ears are covered. And then I'm going to sort of arrange this scarf into my hand so that it sits flat up against my head, just like that. Just going further back, and I'm going to go a little bit off center because I think it's cute. Double knot, not too tight because it will stick to itself pretty well, and I think it's pretty cute just to go kind of like that. Get this sort of bunny ear kind of look, or of course you can sort of make it into more of a bow. With that, probably easiest way to hold it in place is with a pin or tuck it in, but we'll just pin like this, the back, just so it all stays in place, putting the pin into the actual knot. So you can open it up as well. And of course the most practical of all is just to tuck these girls away, tails away, like that. Just a little bit of volume. Take a very similar scarf but much smaller, and I'm going to, same sort of thing, sit at the nape of my neck with the triangle at the front. The difference is I've got my non-slip headband again a bit further back. If you are showing hair, if you're showing a little bit of the front of your hair or a fringe or something like that, what you can do is you can take your hair, just 2 strips of the fringe here, and twist it like that around your finger, and then just pin it, so pin it back about there. You get this little really cute curl here and here, and you just hold it down with one singular bobby pin, and it will hold really easily, and you have the split down the middle roughly, and then this scarf will sit right behind those curls if you're showing your hair. You might even be able to pull it off with a frontal wig as well, something like that could be cute too. I'm calling this a little stalk parcel because it definitely looks like those images of a little baby being carried in a stalk baggie, and I think it's really cute. So I'm going to take this little front bit and tuck it underneath really well into the knot I just made, or into the tie, and then just pull it down, and then I'm going to tie again over it. Okay, and once again, depending on the look you want to go for, you can leave it like this, or arrange the tails in a way that you like. You can do bow tie like we did before as well, do a little bow, very cute. Or you can tuck them away, which is probably my preference. And if you want, you can still have this sort of like bowie or ear kind of appearance coming from the back there. A look like this would look very cute with a bit of a fringe or a bit more of a poof at the front. Again, it just depends on what you're willing to show, and what your belief is, and your practice and all that sort of thing. But I find this one very cute. I actually really just love this scarf. I think if I tied it in just a bow in the middle of my head, I would love it. It's such a pretty scarf with saffron and beautiful tangerine tones and this gorgeous chocolate brown satin as well. It's just a delicious looking scarf with the leopard print and all that jazz. So very cute. The other thing I'm going to try is just to tie a second knot behind this one. I'm just going to make it a little looser first, like that. Yep. That leaves these ones very short. So I'm just going to hide them into themselves, just underneath here. I'm just going to spread this out so it's nice and pretty. And you've got this kind of a look as well. This is probably a bit more 50s housewife style, and I love that. I'm not sure why, but I always feel like there's something very vintage about a gorgeous monochrome polka dot. It just screams Hollywood to me every time. So I haven't even folded this scarf. It's just a sort of, it's a very thin scarf, so it's very pliable, so I can sort of move it once it's ready on my head. So there we go. Fold it down so that the nape has not too much fabric on it. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quite tightly, again, it's that concept of just cradling the head, like you're holding it there on the scarf. So it's only tight through the front part of it. It's not tight through the whole entire scarf. And I'm just going to fold away these excess bits, tucking them away as I go. Now I'm going to actually put a knot here. Okay, a little bit off center just because that's how I like it. And we're going to do, there's one picture of a lady who's got her hair tied in what looks like a bit of a hat. So we're going to try and replicate that one. She's got a little bit of a fringe showing as well, but we're going to miss that bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I've got my first tie. I'm going to do a second one. Doing a second one like a bit of a donut, bit of a bagel, just behind the first one. So I've got this beautiful ring here. Then we're going to continue to do another one. So try not to tighten the first one when you tie the second one. And it's just going to sit right behind. Once you only have a very short tail left, I'm going to tuck it away into this little fold here. And with the remainder, just put it into the whole structure underneath. Absolutely gorgeous is this. So you've got this basically hat. I would only change one thing about this look, and that is I would not wear a clip for this one, and I'll show you why. You can very much see it back there. And sorry, excuse my little bandage as well. You can definitely see the clip back there, and I don't know if I love that. I'd probably change for this look, I'd probably change it to a little ponytail that you tie twice like that, for example, or pin it down into a little loose bun or messy bun and just pin it down with bobby pin, something like that. Something that's not completely flat but not very sticky outy like this clip is. The other thing I want to show you in another sort of black and white scarf is how to do a rectangular scarf into a triangle. So what I've done is I've just folded it a little bit off center until it becomes as close to a triangle as what I can possibly get it. This happens to be a very cool pattern scarf, so it really works as a triangle even though it isn't a square scarf. It's very much rectangular. And then I just tie off the tips. So okay, just tie off the tips. Now this works in so many ways. This is also really cute if you just wear it as a scarf as well. Or, ta-da, looking at it as a triangular headscarf, just like that. And when it folds down, it actually ends up being a perfect size for my head anyway, but I think pretty much will be a pretty decent size for any headscarf. I'm going to keep the knot out to start with. Tie off the bits at the back. And then I'm going to find that knot that we left out before. And because it's already knotted, you can definitely untie it as well. That's 100% an option. But I'm going to use that into my advantage and just gather that there. And I'm going to arrange this wrap part at the front in such a way that it's actually going to hold all of that down. And you have yourself a very cute wrap. How absolutely sweet is this little black and white one? Now keep in mind, I haven't actually readjusted my non-slip headband from before. It is still sitting about there and it's working fine. It's actually quite comfortable. So the wonderful thing about these looks is that you can definitely muck around with them to suit your shape of face, to suit your modesty needs, to suit your fashion needs, your hair needs, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, definitely have a little play. I really encourage you to have a little play with what you've got underneath. So whether your hair is out, up, messy bun, whether you're going to do something twisty and fun, like the lady in the red and yellow scarf in the middle of my image, things like that. Okay, ladies, I am having way too much fun with all of these looks and all these vintage styles and triangle scarves. If you've ever watched my videos before using triangle scarves, you'll know that they're all mums. I've only purchased this one, the one that was tied in a little knot. The rest of them, this is from Suzanne's. This is from like a lady shop, just a local one. So it was very inexpensive. I think I must have paid maybe $20. I don't know, I'm guessing, I really don't remember, but it wouldn't have been much. And it's a really good quality one. It hasn't really snagged, it hasn't anything, it washes fantastically. Like I was just obsessed with this pattern. Like, how could you not buy this? Seriously. See, Suzanne. Okay, my lovelies, thank you so much for coming along for today's Tichel tutorial. I absolutely love doing this. I really enjoyed the research. I didn't think I would. I didn't think I'd find anything I liked, to be honest. And when I did, oh, the fun started. I thought, how am I going to do this? Some of these looks I've done before and I was quite familiar with. Some of them are quite straightforward and simple. And some of them are just so beautiful and creative. But yeah, I was just absolutely inspired. So some of them will be up on the thumbnail, on the imaging throughout this video. Others, I really encourage you to have a look at vintagedancer.com. They have amazing styles and things like that. They've got a few more that I didn't show today because they're kind of straightforward and from a technical point of view, but they're absolutely gorgeous. And just Google search 40s and 50s headscarves, or for each era individually, and some of those images, especially the Hollywood images, are just stunning, just breathtaking femininity and beauty, and really, really speaks to an era of woman, and how people were coming back from having gone through World War II, and how society was rebuilding after such a huge impactful event, and changes in industry, changes in thinking, changes in society. It's an amazing insight into where things were at the time when you look at makeup and fashion, because these are things that are ultimately a luxury item. This is something that people are going to look to for that dream, that escape. So these are images that are usually out of magazines and things like that. So this is very, very special kind of view on where society was in history. So you can read about the events, you can understand where the economy was, and you can assess the numbers and things like that. But if you're looking at what kind of imaging and what kind of social media, if you will, of the time people had, it just really gives you that, almost that trip back in time. Well, I loved it anyway. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. I love seeing those likes and those stats at the end of the month. YouTube kindly sends me everything and I have a little look. There's a lot of you that are coming along and enjoying the video that haven't yet subscribed, so please go ahead and hit that big subscribe button. You don't need to ring the bell, but I would love it if you did. And all it does is it just goes, hey, I just uploaded a video, and it would typically happen midweek and on the weekend. For more images and more pictures and more fun things that are happening, and there's just so much happening at the moment, guys, it is full on. Please head over to Instagram and check it out. I'm going to try my best to keep you all updated and informed and coming along on the journey, which I'm so grateful that you do. Wherever you are around the world, I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're in good spirits and you're healthy, and you're keeping well. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.